right. All right. Welcome back to Jakey's pod. I'm sitting here today with my homie Greg. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Greg is your girlfriend is sisters with my girlfriend.
Yes.
And that's how
yep.
we know each other.
Yep.
And then they're doing hair upstairs.
Yes.
And I wanted to get you on the pod. I had this idea this week.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago too, like a month ago.
Right. We definitely talked about it, but I didn't know what I wanted to interview you about. And then we're at Maria and Raven's grandpa's funeral.
Right.
And this was very funny. Your girl loves you so much, she decided to bring home funeral food for you. So she was like, he's gonna be hungry later.
Yeah, and it's funny about that too. Like, I don't know how it is like in your culture, but like black folks, we tend to like if you didn't come to the funeral, because I didn't ask for. I was like, I'm not gonna ask for a plate. I didn't come to the event.
No one seemed to have a problem with it.
No, and that's the thing. Probably wasn't, but just.
I was like, damn, that's a pretty good setup going on. And then we were checking if the meatballs had pork. So I just kind of in my head, I don't know what I assumed your because I've seen you pray before too. I didn't assume what your religion was. And then I guess I brought it up, and then Raven goes, "Oh, he's a Hotep," and I was like,
right.
"What is?" And I was like, "Oh, I thought it was like maybe Muslim or something." He's like, "No, he's Christian," and I was like. And then she said, "You're a Hotep," and I was like, "What is that?" And I feel like she explained it, and I feel like I have no idea what it is, and I just want to. Maybe I'll just pass the ball to you.
Sure, yeah. I mean,
what is a Hotep?
I can explain. So basically, like a Hotep, usually typically can just consist of someone that's trying to gain knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Typically, the knowledge stems from Afrocentric, ideas and culture stemming from that part of the world. But essentially, I mean, it really could be just gaining knowledge about anything in particular. And just learning. I mean, Hotep.
Does it stand for something?
Yeah. So Hotep actually means just like, peace. Basically, it means like, you have nothing to fear from me.
Okay.
That's really what it means.
It's like a translation of a word. That's what it translates.
Yeah. So and basically, what it actually translates to is it means peace, basically. And what you'll find is you see, so since we're in Philly, right? We're in Philly. You'll find a lot of Hoteps that are out here too. Okay, I'll say this. Have you ever seen like maybe when you're walking around on the street corner, you might see like these guys that have maybe like a patch that says 5% on there, or they might be wearing like a kufi or something like that.
Maybe.
They might be.
Hey, Ichigo, stop playing with Greg's little shoelaces. That's crazy.
Seem like shoelaces.
We're doing boys down here. The girls are upstairs doing hair. We're hanging out with the boys in the basement. In the dojo. Also, this is the first podcast ever done in the dojo. You're in the dojo right now.
I'm happy to be a part of this.
I think you're also my first black guest. I think first black guest on the pod. Pretty cool. 30 episodes in. Here we go. But
so you've never like maybe like you've just been in passing maybe seen a group of black people reading from scripture, maybe like reading from scripture and then like kind of talking about certain things like Hebrew Israelites, people like that. Hold on, what is going on?
Oh, don't even worry about that.
That's probably my AI. This stupid AI thing.
This AI knows we're talking about Hoteps.
Yeah. It's funny how that works. But
is that so? But then I was asking you earlier. I was like, I want to ask you about your religion. You were like, it's not really like a religion.
Well, yeah, because like Hotep isn't really necessarily a religion. That's not really what it is. You will find that it leans a lot towards Islam as far as like because there's different sects of
like
Hotep.
A lot of overlap.
Yes, because when it comes to Hotep, like it could be people are part of the 5% nation. It could be people that are part of the NOI, Nation of Islam. Not all Hoteps necessarily are the same. We all don't agree, obviously, on the same.
There's not like a unanimous. There's not like a unanimous. There's
definitely
make up your own mind.
Yeah, there are some shared like ideas, but there's like certain things that like, there's little branches off basically.
I kind of wanted. Are you the man to ask about this? Like, are you deep? Are you deep in the life? Whoa.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
I saw it out the corner of my eye. I was like, wondering what that was. But I mean, look, I wouldn't say I'm like the person, like the resident Hotep maybe here, but like, at your house, but like, I'm not the person to ask.
You're definitely the one in the house. In the house,
Yeah.
you're number one.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of what I learned from when it comes to stuff about like being Hotep and what it means. Like there's this YouTuber called Hotep Jesus.
Hotep Jesus.
And the thing is, from what was funny about his name was when people hear his name, he was smart about it because they kind of go crazy when they hear, well, wait, Hotep Jesus, how can you be a Hotep, but then you're using Jesus's name, and he's the white Messiah, and we don't really believe in that and this and that, and he creates notoriety around his name. People are starting to talk about his name and talk about him and who is this Hotep Jesus guy and stuff like that. So him and Uncle Hotep.
So he kind of made the word more popular just by putting it in his name.
Well, that kind of took the power back because for a while the word Hotep had a bad stigma around it. It was usually people that hate white people, and
that's sick.
It was a stereotype.
I know about I just learned through a YouTube video about Yakub and like Yakubian devils.
Yeah,
and which is like, so that was the first black guy who made soulless white people. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's by the way, is that like part of what you believe?
Part of what I believe, no, but
people believe it,
and certain people within
Yakubian devils,
being
dude.
Hotep, yeah.
Maybe that's what I should call if I ever get fans. Maybe that's what I should call them, or no. No, never mind.
That would be a good look for you, bro.
Yakubian wouldn't be a good look.
Not for you.
Yeah. Okay. No. I'm just everything I say. This is a comedy podcast too, mostly.
I mean,
so.
especially. Yeah,
everything I say is jokes.
Especially in Philly.
You're right. Calling myself
and
and my fans Yakubian devils. I see how that could be seen as.
You're gonna have brothers showing up at at your comedy shows yelling. You think you got hecklers?
That sounds really fun, but fascinating. So, but like, when did you think? When would you say you started? If like, when did you learn about it, and when would you maybe say you started identifying as a Hotep?
I would say back in probably 2017, 2018. 2017,
which is a minute ago now. Feels recent, but it's actually been a minute.
Yeah, I know. Crazy how time flies, but yeah, I would say 2018 because some people will disagree with this. Some, like, when you go the route of becoming Hotep and understanding certain things, a lot of times you either go one or two routes. Excuse me.
No. Yeah.
You might go the conservative route and really understand a lot of like the BS that's been happening when it comes to just how a lot of again, we're in Philly. Certain cities that are run by Democrats, how we've continuously voted and believed in their promises, in particular black people. And we decided at some point, we realized like we still have some of the biggest crime rates, biggest poverty rates, and none of this shit's getting fixed.
Hear that, Dems? Fucking come on. Hey. Oh. Anyway. We see it. Anyway, continue.
So basically, it's kind of one of those things where you might start to realize, okay, there's, stuff that's going on that I thought, my grandmother, my mother, they were telling me, them Republicans, which, I mean, there is some truth to that, but like them Republicans, they're racist. They don't want anything to do with black people or this or that. So we vote Democrat, we vote blue, this and that. And you might start to think like, well, if that was kind of wrong, they had that wrong, what else did they have wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What other things have I been taught or told that necessarily isn't the case? And then you start, if you like, you're a young black man, you typically start to realize, oh, well, there's a lot of racism in the Democratic Party as well as what they've been saying about Republicans for years. And then you start looking into your history, not just where you think it starts with slavery, but you start looking back even
past that.
Exactly. And
I feel like in like history, in like school history books, they never delve into that. It just starts at like America, slavery, right? You know what I mean? You never go before that,
Yeah. And even when it comes to world history, like when it comes to American history, I can understand that. But even with world history, a lot of stuff when it comes to ancient Africa,
I'm a history
and
fan. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
it's like brushed over, kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, sure, obviously, you have Egypt, you have ancient Kemet, but I mean, you've got the Nubian people, you've got other areas in Africa that were doing some pretty amazing things too. But a lot of that gets skipped over, kind of just like when they talk about Africa, you hear about Egypt, and that's it.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. And there's it's also, I mean, I'm sure you know about this too. How like fucking old school globes, they make Africa like smaller. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where it's like geographically speaking, you could fit like 3 continents inside Africa, but they'll kind of make Africa a little bit more the size of America. Do you know? Is that true?
Well, over time, you have seen that happen. If you compare maps from way back,
Yeah.
compared to now, over time it has been shown that it has they have like shrunk Africa a lot, like down a lot.
Yeah, it's great. And like, yeah, geographically, like, it's just huge.
Right. I mean, and you can come to your own conclusion about why that would even matter to some people to even do something like that.
It's almost like maybe do you think intentional or subconscious? I feel like either could be true, or a little bit of both.
Here's the thing: either could be true, but rather than like the possibility of one or the other, what's the probability? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that the probability of just trying to downplay a lot of contributions to culture that came from Africa has been done. Especially when, I mean, if you like, we can go really deep into this.
I want to go. We have plenty of time until the girls are done with their hair. I'm like fascinated right now. Also, I want to say, have you ever been to Africa?
No, but that is on my bucket
list. If you could go, like, that, it's a huge place. If you could go one place, where are you going? Do you have a
Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone, sick.
First, but I obviously I want to go to Egypt too.
I would love to go to Egypt. Yeah.
But, because when I was tracing back my lineage, a lot of my family, the black side, comes from the Gullah Islands, Geechee Islands.
Fascinating.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 29.
Okay. Do you remember a show called Gullah Island?
No.
You remember?
What show? What was it on?
It was on Nickelodeon.
No.
Remember a yellow and orange frog, a pollywog?
It's kind of ringing a bell, but really does not.
Okay. Binya? Is that?
No.
Okay, that's fair. But basically, that is, so the Geechee Islands or the Gullah Islands is where my family was from, and basically from there that they were dropped off, but they were dropped off from Sierra Leone.
Oh,
when they
interesting.
Were
You just want to go back. I have a buddy in Philly, a Philadelphia comedian who's from Sierra Leone, Mahi Lakule.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just interesting, fascinating.
Cool.
So that's where you'd go, and we were saying, going deep. Like, what would be like the core? Where would you start? Core tenets? Would you go history or?
Well, I would say if we'd go from like
what are the core tenets if you had to break it down?
Well, core tenets. I would say like understanding yourself, understanding your history, understanding where you come from. In particular, because again, like when it comes to Hoteps, a lot of it is centered around Afrocentric culture and ideas. It's not. Now you can have Hoteps of any race, any color, whatever.
Like, could I be one, or is it like?
Absolutely. I mean,
okay,
there's different there's Hoteps that are different races. It's not exclusive to black people. It's just that's really where it started.
That's where it started.
Because think about it. You don't got to be black to gain knowledge.
No, technically no. But classic, black people come with something cool. Everyone wants to do it.
yeah. That is as history has shown. But yeah, it's not an exclusive. Now, some people might, depending on the sect, they might say, well, no, we created y'all, in a lab, the whole Yakub story and this and that. So
can you break that down if there's anybody who listens who doesn't know?
Man, okay, so because
I watched one YouTube video, and now I'm an expert, but it was like a 13-minute YouTube video.
Essentially, I mean, yeah, long story short, man, just to like, so basically there was this person named Yakub, right? One of the smartest men to ever live.
He had a big
And
head. Is that true?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
but a big, like, gigantic brain.
Yes. If you ever see illustrations of him, that's what you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
And he decided one day to create white people, a white person.
Mm-hmm. Yakub was black.
Yes.
Okay.
Yakub is black, and he decided to create white people, and he basically created white people in a lab. And if you ask certain people within the Hotep community, they will say that that's where white people actually come from.
What region would this be? Like Mesopotamia or like Egypt or?
No, like this. And see, that's the thing that I don't know.
Like that's too vague. It's just
yeah. I'm not as far as exactly where the island was supposed to be. That I don't know. But
because I'm on board with. I'll believe. Yeah, I'm on board.
I think that. I mean,
but white people it says like white people have no souls, right?
Yeah, that you guys are soulless.
Yeah.
And you only give in to your animalistic, ideas and wants and stuff like that. I mean, it's just not something that I personally subscribe to when it comes to.
Like, I hope not.
Story. Nah, because like, I mean, it doesn't take a genius to understand that there's certain people that are born in different climates.
Yeah,
and if you're born in a certain climate where there's not a lot of sun, over time, your body adapts.
Yeah.
Well, isn't skin a part of your body?
Mm.
Over time, your body's not going to have the need to have all that melanin in it to protect itself from the sun. So eventually, you're going to get lighter over thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Eventually, you're going to get lighter.
That's why, like, close to the equator, like, darker. And then, like, Mediterranean, you get, like, medium.
Yep.
Egypt, you're, like, caramely. And then, like, Nordic, you're, like, white chocolate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, the thing about Egypt is the original Egyptians
were black.
They were dark, though, because what happened was Nubian culture, the Nubian people went into Egypt. They did their thing, and then they had their culture and brought it into the land that was Egypt, actually ancient Kemet.
Brought Nubia to Egypt.
Yes. So, because a lot of people will try and argue that is Egypt is it like more Middle Eastern? Is it like more European because it's Northern Africa, this and that? But if you go all the way back to the original people that did get into Egypt, they were dark.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were saying, I mean, yeah, you can say that a lot of different cultures and stuff like that, as far as like race goes, ethnicity, yeah, you could say that like we all came from Africa. That's why it's called the motherland. However, once you spread out, right? Once you spread out and you go to different regions and then you spend all that time there, your body is going to adapt. We know this. It's been proven. So for me to sit there and know all of that and then still say that, I really think white people were created in a lab by some big head dude, is just, for me, that's
too much of a stretch.
That's where I drew the line. Yeah.
But kind of fun, though.
It's funny.
It's it's kind of fun. It kind of rules. But and I think we're you hear that, guys? Gordon Gregg, who I believe. Also, look at Ichi goes to sleep behind you. The Cuban story, cutting that one out. White people do have souls, albeit
Yeah, most of y'all.
For many of our flaws, we at least have souls.
Most of y'all.
I mean, some don't. But I guess you can find evil people everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean?
Of course you can.
So historically, maybe it would be easier if you told me, like, what are the different sects? You said there could be like Islam, and you could say there's like, what's the different groups? What are the divides?
Okay,
maybe that might be easier.
An important distinction is the Nation of Islam, because not everybody that is Islamic or studies Islam is Hotep. just like obviously not everybody that is part of the Hotep community is like Islamic or studies Islam. The Nation of Islam is a sect of Hotep. That is, essentially, I mean, if you could look at it like the muscle of the Islamic religion over here in particular. The Nation of Islam, they don't play. And, we could talk about, their hand and covering some stuff up, their hand. And
we could honestly gloss over that. No, is it interesting? Talk about it if it's interesting. I don't want a fatwa.
It's no, it's. I mean, you're familiar with Malcolm X, right? And everything.
Yeah, I am like a fan of history and like I don't want to say very well read, but like lightly well read. I'm familiar with Malcolm X and his history.
Yeah. So basically, when it comes to Nation of Islam, Malcolm, he started, his brother Malcolm, and he, was with him, for the longest time. But let's just say, like, there's some certain things that he found out, or he, information that he was privy to that, from what is said, the Nation of Islam didn't really want out there about a leader in their, organization. Now, was I there? No, this was before my time. Do I know this for sure? No. But like I said, this is what was said.
Is it that they were like infiltrated by like the CIA or anything, or wait, what did he uncover?
Well, no,
What is the rumor that he uncovered?
So supposedly, the honorable Elijah Muhammad, he had young women that he would supposedly he would got some young women pregnant.
And they're like cover it up story.
Yeah, that's what is said. Now, don't come for me because you can Google any of this stuff and it'll say
Google, guys.
It'll say that that's what was said to him.
I'm saying
Google.
Google does hide stuff
because
though.
I wasn't there, so I can't say this for sure. Can't say that. But to answer the question of what happened between him and the Nation of Islam, supposedly that is what happened, where he
separated himself after that.
He separated himself, which also meant that now, I mean, certain people may not have really wanted to have his back, especially when you threaten to come out with that information publicly too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so the rumor is that they had a hand, that him and the CIA too, but more so they had a hand in having him killed when he was shot and assassinated. But stuff like that. But
goes deep, man. It goes. It's everything. It's all connected.
Right. But here's the thing. Like me personally, like I don't really I don't really subscribe to the Islamic faith like that. You know what I'm saying? I am Christian.
Well, because I know you were avoiding pork, but you're Christian.
Yeah, well, I avoid pork because it's just not good.
It's just fucking gross.
I mean, here's the thing. Even just up until, modern conveniences, we really couldn't eat it weren't supposed to eat it like that anyway because all the bacteria and stuff that's in it, there's a reason why you have to cook it at a higher temperature. You have to kill all the bacteria that's in it and all the diseases that you can catch from eating it if it's not cooked properly. Like, there's other meats that are like that too, but pork is one of those meats it's in there with chicken and beef.
I eat it, but do you think I would be more healthy if I didn't eat it?
Well, yeah, I personally think you would because, again, it goes back to the bacteria. Also, after you cook it, the bacteria can still live in pork.
Yeah.
That's the other thing too. It's not a lean meat. You can
No.
As far as the nutritional value, I mean, you'll get protein, but you can get that from chicken, you can get that from fish.
My coworker, I've had coworkers in the past who didn't eat pork, and the way they explained it was that they bathed in shit, so they get all the shit all over them. That's how it was explained to me. I was like, that is gross. Yeah, if chickens bathed in shit, that would be pretty fucking gross.
Nah, it would be. But
Nobody would want to eat chickens, you know.
I'll keep it a stat. And y'all know y'all would still eat chicken too, even if that was true. Yeah, y'all know y'all still would eat chicken. Y'all still eat pork. You heard what he just said, and you know that you're probably eating bacon right now. Now I'm not saying, people that like pork, it is what it is.
People come on all the way to all sides of the types of the divide about.
But I'm not gonna act
good.
Right. But I'm not gonna act like I don't like. I do like bacon. I do
You're
like
it tastes good.
Yes.
You'll concede it tastes good. Like but it's like bad. For you.
I'm not gonna.
It's like candy.
If I told you that bacon didn't taste good, I'd be lying. There's some people that
There's
don't like
we were talking about an Italian market date. On the
Yeah.
Italian market, there's a shop called Anthony's, and they sell chocolate covered bacon.
Yeah.
And I remember eating that, and I remember thinking like,
did you like it?
yeah, it tastes good as fuck. But I remember thinking like, oh, this is bad.
I need plenty of water after this.
It was like, this is
Right?
evil. I was like, we shouldn't be. It's evil.
Yeah. Man, well,
There's Jakey Tucker coming out again. Jakey Tucker. But anyway.
Nah, man, you know that there's like.
But there's
it's America, so there's so many of the different foods that are like that, bro.
But we've talked Hotep, we've talked history, we've talked backstory, we've talked food,
Yep.
religion. What else is there?
Who are some of your favorite comics? Now, this is your audience. I'm sure they're gonna already know, but I want to know.
Who are my favorite comics?
Yeah.
Are you flipping it on me?
Yeah, you're getting interviewed now.
I'm getting interviewed now about my favorite comic. I'm much more interested in your history. But let me see. Who did? I'll say I watched last night. I watched Nick Mullen's YouTube special.
Okay.
Watched it on a repeat, and it made me laugh very hard. If you want a recommendation for you, I think you'd like it. I think it's funny. It's free on YouTube. It's like a really solid hour.
I'll check it out.
Nick Mullen and it's so funny. I just did an Inside Baseball podcast, and I'm trying not to. I feel like it would be too inside baseball to talk about my favorite comedians. Because it's all like one world away. You don't want to be a dick rider. You know what I mean? Like there's certain guys I love that I'm not gonna bring up. You know what I will say?
Is it really glazed enough if you just say like I like somebody else's work and you're in the same medium?
Who else's work do I like really? Do I really like? This is such a good question. I could give like a basic answer. Or I could give like a more niche answer.
Whatever people you like. I'm not looking for a specific answer because I don't know. I can't tell you who your favorite comedians are. So I'm just wondering like who do you like?
I really the stuff that I was like came up listening to because that's what I'm saying. Can I give like the most political answer ever?
Sure.
It's just like there's like a lot of demographics of comedy, and even if some of them aren't the demographic that I would particularly enjoy, that doesn't mean they are not fun. A lot of shitty comedians would be like, they're not funny, blah blah blah, because you're not in the demographic for it. But I understand that there are like different genres of comedy.
Yeah, but comedy's subjective though.
That's what I'm saying. So there's like out of the different genres, I think I could see the value in a lot of it. In terms of like, but in terms of like the nerdy white guy comedians that I particularly enjoy.
Right.
I loved Ari Shaffir's Jew, and I loved.
Okay.
Who's the other one? Kurt Metzger's albums I think are really great. You ever listen to Kurt?
I've heard of him. I still need to check him out. I have heard.
I think he started in Philly. He has his 2 albums on Spotify. He has a Kurt Metzger talks to young people about sex, and then there's another one which might be just like Kurt Metzger Live or some shit. But they're from like a decade ago, but they hold up. They're great. They're very funny. And my buddy Jay Simpson, who like showed me the ropes, we would listen to those albums in the car when we would drive to gigs and shit. Yeah, we'd listen to Kurt Metzger, and I remember listening to those albums. Got me thinking about writing jokes different. Because like, it's like I like dirty comedy. Okay, that's what I like. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Louis C.K. is the GOAT of dirty comedy.
Okay, yeah, yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And saying like even who I like, that isn't even like a top, like it's like if you were to say like top 5 comedians, I feel like it's a different question than like who I particularly am enjoying right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like as far as dirty comedy goes,
I love dirty.
Oh, what's his name? This is crazy. How can I forget? George Carlin. He was
Carlin's cool.
Yeah, like, because I mean, I just like stand up. Like when it comes to like, I like comedy in general, but like in particular, like I will sit there and watch stand up specials and not be bored.
Yeah,
especially if it's a good one or someone that I like really like enjoy or I know like is just funny. I think probably of all time, my favorite comedian would be Cat Williams.
Cat Williams top. Cat Williams rules.
Man,
he might be in the top 10 ever. He might be in the top 10 ever. But I think that would be valid to say.
Top 10, definitely in the top 10. Because you have so many.
Making a top comedians conversation is different even than who I like because, but yeah, Cat Williams could be. And honestly, you could have even a conversation of like top 10 black comedians or just top 10 in general.
Right.
Because I feel like generally people put like Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle at the top of their list, which is pretty valid too because they rip hard.
Yeah, man. Like
I have Bigger and Blacker on DVD upstairs. That's like one of the best comedy specials ever.
Yeah.
That one's like the young Chris Rock one.
Mm-hmm. Here's a hot take. And some people are not gonna like.
Are you gonna dump on it?
No. A comedian who I honestly, I mean, and you can weigh in on your opinion on this, but probably he's actually up there for me because I really liked his show. I liked his stand up.
Mm-hmm.
He's the only comedian. Like I've watched people stand up. He's the only person I've actually listened. Like I downloaded illegally downloaded some of his stuff.
Wait, who's this? Dave Chappelle?
Carlos Mencia.
Carlos Mencia? You're a big Mencia fan?
Listen, I know.
Crazy.
I know. But I can't lie either. I mean, when I was growing up and I was
like when you were like got on the what was it the Pirates Bay, you were like Carlos Mencia specials, please.
Yeah, man.
He was on top of the world for a minute there.
Yeah, and we know what happened after that.
Got lost in the sauce, Carlos. But we
Yeah.
still love you. We
Yeah.
still love you. You know, you got these fans out here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if he'll ever be able to really like come back from some of the stuff that he's been accused of and has been proven to be true.
I feel like you could come back because his accusation was to being a joke thief. So hypothetically, I guess I don't know the full extent of it because it would be like if every joke you ever said was not yours, it might be very hard to write stand up. But
No.
I would like to believe that anybody, you're right, is right back to the top.
I mean,
you know who I think
it's been a long time.
You know who can never do a stand up again? Eddie Murphy. I heard there was a rumor like 5 years ago that he was coming back, but his two specials that came out were too good and he took such a long break. There's no way it would be good. It just wouldn't be comparable, and it's not even worth doing.
No, Raw and Delirious, man.
So I got those on DVD upstairs too.
Yep.
I
And
rules.
get it. But the
you want
bar
to know
set so high. It's like you might want to just maybe don't touch that. Just let it. That's your high point, and it's such a good high point. I understand.
That's why you want to know just a funny random detail? My mom got me Delirious on DVD when I was in high school. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. So maybe like. And she put it in my Easter basket when I was like 14 or 15. Isn't that kind of bizarre? I got Delirious for Easter.
That's actually kind of cool.
It's nice. Yeah, it was. She must have just saw it at fucking Target and been like, "You would have liked this." And then you're watching this a special about.
I got with some stale ass jelly beans for Easter.
Yo, yeah, you got stale jelly beans.
Yeah,
that's sick.
You know, comedy DVD. I would have loved that.
It's kind of. I feel like it kind of loses the point of Easter, but still fun. Hey, little boy.
Yeah, I mean,
we're learning about Hoteps and comedy.
Was your
we're learning about Hoteps and comedy.
Was your background Christian at all?
Yeah, I had a loose Christian background. Got into Buddhism in college. Kind of had a Buddhist phase, and I feel like lately I've been really into fucking stop touching your. You could.
You say something. You want to say something?
He wants to rub on you, dude. Just let him rub. I've been really into like YouTube videos about You can let him rub on the mic. I think that's fun. Stoicism and hermeticism and stuff.
Okay.
Just for fun. Just as some fun, light listening. What a goofball he is. He really likes your watch. It's good to know. Yeah. Ichigo, not racist. You've seen it here, folks. Marv's upstairs. She's a little racist, I think. Yeah. But Ichigo, sure not. Oh, he loves you. He loves hair and he loves men. He likes boys.
Gotcha.
He's in the
right place then.
Yep. But yeah.
Definitely in the right place.
I mean, you said Cat Williams is top. Carlos Mencia is a. Well, you know what I'll say? I'll make an admission.
I like him. I won't say he's top because there's a whole bunch of other ones that I think would, for me at least, would come before him.
I'll make an admission of what I like. A comedian who kind of felt I loved Dane Cook when I was younger, and I don't think his stuff. He was really on top of the world, and I think he's still probably a very good comic.
Dane,
man, he kind of got like people like turned on him a little bit. And you know what I'll say right now? This is just comedy talk. People are gonna turn on Matt Rife in the same way in like 5-10 years, where they're gonna be like, "Why did I like that?" And then it's like Matt's gonna be like, "I thought you liked me." You know what I mean? Like,
I think one of the corniest things that you could do
of the era, maybe.
I think one of the corniest things that you could honestly do is think something is genuinely funny.
Yeah.
And then later on in life, act like you never thought it was funny.
Yeah, that's rude.
It's one thing to say I grew from it. I don't think it's funny now, but to be like,
I didn't like it. No, you liked that shit. We all watched it.
Where you were at the time in life, okay, but you still enjoyed it, and that's okay.
See, and I don't know if Dane Cook's stuff holds up so much nowadays, but I think it definitely moved the needle on people's senses of humor and public pop culture, and to the point where like. Looking back on it, it seems certain thoughts seem like basic because at the time they were new, but now they're common. Yep. You know what I mean? That sometimes happens with comedy. It doesn't age well. Whereas some comedy ages very well. Like Kurt Metzger's album, for example, all the jokes are still relevant, but the topic is like ShamWow and fucking who's the golf guy who cheated? Tiger Woods cheating. That was the topics of the day. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But still, like just because it's not relevant anymore. They like the jokes still work. Timeless jokes, timeless ha-has. How do you think the girls are doing on the air? What a menace this guy is.
Man, you want the cord? He wants to be the star of the show.
He does.
I tried to give you the mic, but you just wanted to boop it. That's all you wanted to do.
I mean, but like. So let's bring it back around.
Give me like that.
Let's bring it back around to Hotep before we wrap up.
Sure.
And I was talking to my friend about my best friend is not talking to me right now. By the way.
Oh.
He's mad at me.
What did you do?
It was like I recorded a podcast I kind of like kept a secret from him and made it like a joke, and then I recorded a podcast and I also recorded his private phone calls and I put that in the podcast.
So this is a prank.
It was kind of like a prank, and I think he's mad at me about not asking his permission when I recorded our phone calls.
Well, that's not funny. Hey,
no, it's not.
Do you mind if I like record you, but like act like you don't know?
Yeah, no,
and it's gonna be a joke.
No, I think it's fucked up, but it was. I think in the context, it wasn't that bad, and I think it was funny. But I think he's genuinely upset with me.
I think
I should apologize.
I don't know your friend. No,
I love him.
Was this not a joke? Was this a serious thing that you were doing?
No, it was a joke.
It was a joke.
Yeah. It's the last episode of the podcast.
So why would you then apologize for something that's a part of your job?
Yeah, good point, Shawnee. This is the Hotep thing that you were talking about with Raven upstairs. Asking questions, right?
Yeah.
Gotta ask questions. It's part of my job, Sean. We're doing comedy on the podcast.
This might sound crazy, but I don't think you are allowed to apologize for something that is a part of your job, especially if you're given and
even if I'm like basically Watergating him, he's being funny on the phone. And by the way, Sean, I'm not gonna do that again. But I can see why he doesn't want to pick up my phone call.
Well, there's a difference between like if it's an actual joke and it's funny, because I mean there's certain things that might be a joke that if it's not, and you know the difference.
Yeah.
If it doesn't land.
I think if it was, I think this one was funny because I kept a secret from him, but it wasn't serious. Like if I was holding like mean information over his head, I think that would have been fucked up. But it ended up being like a light joke.
Right. Well, you ever like have like a roast session with someone and like they can't roast?
Yeah.
But what they're saying, they're really, you can tell they're upset. So they're trying to roast.
Yeah.
But they're actually just saying just mean things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then none of it lands.
That's honestly, I'm actually pretty bad roast comic. A lot of my stuff is either like, that doesn't make any sense, or like, oh my God, that was mean. Like, I have a very hard time. With the homies, I'm fine. But like with the,
that's where
honestly,
really,
with the
that's
homies, I'm
kind
of bad at roasting too. People tell me to
Oh.
shut the fuck. I have a big mouth, you know what I mean. I have a
Right.
bad line with that type of stuff. But so to wrap
do
up.
you get people? I guess my bad. I don't want to like keep this going for too long. I don't know how long.
No, we're good. We're totally good. It's
Okay.
it's
because I don't know how long your episodes run. So
30 to an hour. We're right in the middle. Yeah.
when you roast people, or when like just your friends though, if they tell you to shut the fuck up, is it because you roasted them so bad that they don't have anything left?
No, it's
Or
because
they-
I've crossed the line.
All right,
I've crossed.
Yeah,
I do
okay.
love pushing people's lines,
dude. I get it.
Yeah,
Cause man, all right. So you understand?
I understand.
Because I don't know. When it comes to like, if I roast someone, I have this issue where like it'll be funny, but it'll also be pretty cutting. Like,
Yeah.
it won't be like some person like, yo, don't talk about that, or no one was supposed to know, or anything personal like that. But it might be something where it's like really like surgical, where you think where you're like, oh fuck you, and then you might come with something back, and it'll be funny. But like, I get it, because that's why I asked, because I was like when you roast people, is it like you said something that was like really good, but it was too good, and they got mad at you?
When people get mad at me, it's generally no. Like I said, I like push. I push the line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which like just last night, I was talking with my friend Seamus, friend of the pod, and we were talking about Jim Henson, and I jokingly called Jim Henson. I might have said something to the effect of like that he's going to hell because he's like a child molester or something. And as a big Jim Henson fan, Seamus was like, "Hey man, what the hell? You guys too far." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I just do that all the time.
You-
I just sometimes you gotta slam me.
You've been better off with a potato famine joke.
I know, right? It's just it's drinking too, but
You can joke about that
yeah,
with an Irishman. I'm assuming he's Irish. His name's Seamus.
I don't know. I genuinely don't. Oh, let's say
It-
yes. He must be. He must be.
It is pretty Irish.
He must be. Seamus, yeah. Millar, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Seamus Miller. But let's wrap. This is how I want to close it. So my friend who's mad at me, but I remember telling him I was like, I met like a Hotep,
Mm-hmm.
or like I found out that my friend Greg is a Hotep, and then he goes, "What is that?" And then I was like, I don't know. So like,
Okay.
if I had to describe it, like if I had to, like, that's what I'm saying, one sentence or like a short explanation, like what's like the biggest takeaway?
Biggest takeaway.
Or yeah.
Biggest takeaway is someone who is all about gaining knowledge is what you would describe someone as woke was before it got hijacked.
This is woke pre-hijacking.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
100%. That's when you talk about someone that's woke, usually you'd be speaking to someone that's within, especially if they're black.
Uh-huh.
Someone who's within like the sex of Hotep.
Wow, I never knew that woke came from Hotep.
All
But
it-
it got shanghaied away.
Yeah,
More like
because-
awakening, like mentally awakening.
Yeah, because essentially what it just means is basically having knowledge of what's really going on as opposed to what's in front of you. All these distractions that we have, you know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we don't have, like, and this is just like basic, stuff that you just stop and think for a second. And you'll realize, oh yeah, that is kind of weird or retarded. Like, we don't have like, okay, Philly. Does Philly have a homelessness problem?
Yes.
Does Philly have a starving people problem?
I'm assuming yes.
Would you say that there are other cities that are like this?
Yes.
So why in the hell? And this isn't for you to answer because you don't have the answer to this.
I can try my best.
But it's okay. But it's more to think. Why do we have all this money to give to everyone else and everywhere else?
Yeah.
Why is it that there was a school that got shut down in New York, right? School that got shut down in New York City. Couldn't keep it open. Didn't have the money to do it. Not long after that, they opened it back up to house migrants, legal immigrants. House them, and not only could they house them, but then they opened up the downstairs for them to go to school.
That is something. I mean, I have a whole rant. I mean, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. Like I've seen like you'll see some shit. Like I was watching a video about China, and it was just saying like China has like a. I feel like every industry is like a $1 billion industry. Like Nabisco is a $1 billion industry. Tutoring in China was a $1 billion industry, and I'm like. How is everything a fucking $1 billion industry? Who has all these like for the example, like there's a thing I say all the time, like how Marvel movies and nerd shit like that, or big Hollywood movies, they cost like 200 to 300 million. I'm just like, hey, can we take one Marvel movie, just skip one this year, and feed everybody on Earth? Like, can we make one less? Like let's skip Endgame and take that 300 mil and like. Solve an issue with it. Just sacrifice one Marvel movie.
I think we'd be good with that.
And I know that's not how money works. I know that's not how money works, where it's like, you can't just immediately take Hollywood money and make it social money. But like,
no, but
it just, I'm like, where is it all going?
Here's the question though. What would happen if you did?
What would happen if you did?
Who would die, and how worse off would this world be?
I mean, I love the line of questioning. Maybe one day I could aspire to be Hotep.
Yeah, I mean, you're
on my way.
Inquisitive and you're all about learning. I mean, yeah, go ahead and get that because I really don't want that fly on my drink.
Yeah, that's fucking gross.
Yeah.
Oh, good job, Ichi. You're such a fun guy. Man, Greg, this has been a great pod. I guess what would you like to? Do you want to plug anything? And then also, I know you're in a band.
Yeah. Well, first, I just want to say, with the whole reason why we started this conversation, obviously, shout out to Hotep Jesus High, shout out to Uncle Hotep, Hotep Nation, everybody over there, and everything that they're doing, great stuff. Check them out on YouTube. And yeah, I am in a band. I do music. I play guitar, stuff like that. I'm in a band called Edge of Chaos.
Edge of Chaos.
We are a metal band from South Jersey. If you're into like Lamb of God, Metallica, Judas Priest, stuff like that, old school sound of metal, or even like some new school stuff. Definitely check us out. You will like what we do. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube. You can find us on Facebook. You type in Edge of Chaos Band 4, and you'll find us. Also, if you type us on Edge of Chaos TV on YouTube, you'll find us there, and you'll find us on Instagram as well.
Sick. Yeah. And Greg, thank you for letting me interrogate you about your lifestyle.
Oh, dude, it was a great conversation.
Awesome.
We should totally do this again.
Absolutely, guys. This has been Jakey's Pod. We got shows. We got subscribe. Signing off.